I told y'all in Florida what they doing, right? And I'm only gonna spend 10 minutes on this. I told y'all in Florida what they doing. Y'all young dudes, y'all gonna mess up y'all life. You young boys are going to mess up your life. You are going to do something that you are going to regret, and it's gonna carry with you for the rest of your life. And you're gonna be acting like the system is against you, when in reality, you're the one that did it to yourself. Honestly, you're doing it to yourself. You ain't even got the type of money that you need in order to be doing this type of stuff. You're gonna ruin your life. So a man was arrested for doing 155 miles an hour in Florida, right after they installed the law or instituted that new law, where anything above a certain amount you're getting arrested by default. You're gonna catch a felony.
Details into the arrest of an alleged super speeder. Troopers clocked a 20-year-old going 155 miles an hour. When they pulled him over, they say he thought he was going about 80 down I-4 in Seminole County. Fox 35's Stephanie Buff-Monty found out how police were able to catch him.
95 over the posted speed limit, that is a missile going down the interstate system, and it can kill someone.
Lieutenant Tara Crescenzi says a Florida Highway Patrol trooper doing radar enforcement clocked Octavius Hunt doing 155 miles.
Take it in, y'all. Take it in. Glocktavius is out here doing 95 miles an hour over the speed limit with no lawyer, probably no insurance, no nothing. Just riding. Just riding. Somebody said, what was he riding? I think he was riding either a Charger or a Challenger. Because if you go back and you actually look at what they pulled him over in, if you go back and you looked at I think that's a Challenger Charger. That's a Challenger right there. That's 100% a Challenger. I believe that is a Challenger, 100%. Octavius is doing 95 miles an hour over. He tells the troopers, I thought I was doing 80. You know what happens when stuff like this happen? Honestly, if it's not an accident, because in most situations, if it's an accident, you kill somebody. If you run into somebody doing 155 miles an hour, you can pretty much guarantee that they're going to be gone. The other part about it is that you can't really control a car. I don't really know if y'all know how fast that is. All right. I jumped on the freeway when I was a much younger guy. And I was doing crazy speeds. And it was a newly paved freeway. You can't control the car at that speed like that. At 155, you really, especially these young dudes that ain't really got no real experience behind the wheel like that, you can't control. It's one wrong move, one jerk of the steering wheel, somebody pop out, somebody try to get over too fast because they see you flying. One extra jerk a little bit too much is gone. Everybody dead. You're probably going to kill somebody. And it's honestly a selfish act. You cannot control it, bro. Bro, when you go that fast, everything looks surreal. Nothing looks real anymore. Nothing looks real anymore, especially if you in a Hellcat, because those cars are not those cars are not built to be stable. Those cars are not built to be, they're not driver's vehicles. They just fast and they heavy. If you getting into a Porsche, for example, 911, you have more control because of the engineering and how it is designed. It is a flat six, but the car is much lighter. It's more aerodynamic. The wing pops out in order to give you a little bit more stability on the road. You can hit corners going a little bit faster, so on and so forth, right? You literally are a missile. how she described it. You're a missile going down the street. You are in a 4,000, 4,500 pound missile going down the street. It looks surreal. Nothing looks around. Everything looked like it's standing still when you're going 155 miles an hour. And if you're going to do that, honestly, if you're going to do it, you might as well go to the track, bro. You might as well go to the track if you're going to go that fast. You might as well go to the track and get your clock cleaned by somebody that actually know what they're doing when they're driving. And it's more fun at the track. It's more fun at the track. I was talking to my daughter and she was like, Dad, we got to go to the track in August, whatever. We got track days. We're going to take the cars out to the track. We're going to run them and we're going to do what we do. Go and spend the money and go to the track. That way you ain't got to worry about nobody pulling you over. You ain't got to worry about, because they're going to take y'all cars. They don't care if you got a car note. They don't care if it's your mama car. Your car going to get impounded at that point.
Per hour in a 60 mile per hour zone. It happened around 1 a.m. Sunday on I-4 in this Dodge Challenger. That's when the trooper called in for help.
And that's the problem. That's the problem. They sell a lot of these cars, but they can't discriminate against who they're going to sell them to. Y'all get 18%, 27% interest rates on your cars just to say that you got a Dodge Charger. You get the Scat Pack because you can't really get the Hellcat. Some of y'all get the Hellcat because you stole the engine out of it or whatever. It's always the same thing. They look for those cars. They look for these cars. These cars are targeted. So if you don't have your paperwork right, if you're not doing what it is that you're supposed to do, I'm going to talk about that in a minute, John. If you don't do what you're supposed to do, if you ain't got things all together, you're going to jail, bro.
A trooper up ahead that was able to identify that vehicle, and then put them two together. They were able to put a vehicle in front and a vehicle behind and get them over on the shoulder.
The 20-year-old told troopers he was only going 80 miles per hour as he headed to a friend's house with 3 others in his car. But the trooper didn't buy it.
It is so dangerous to be driving that fast, not only because of the new law change and potentially facing jail time, but also the consequences of if you were involved in a crash. If you crash into somebody else or you lost control and you crash into a concrete wall barrier, you're not only going to kill yourself, but you could potentially kill your 3.
Do y'all know how people be getting 10? You know how the Hellcat Mike guy got 10 years in prison? He got a decade in prison. You don't get, all right, so let me break this down for y'all. You don't get a lot of time because you were speeding. You don't get a lot of time because you outran the police, because most of the time you're not going to outrun the police. First of all, if they get a chopper on you, you're not outrunning a helicopter. That's number one. I don't care what movie you watch going in 60 seconds. You're not outrunning a helicopter. That's number one. The second thing is when you get 10 years in prison, they give you that number because you hurt somebody. If you run into somebody, if you crash into something, if you damage some property, if somebody get injured, they could sue you, they can sue the insurance company. You're gonna wind up getting 5-7 years in prison. That's the way that you get the time. You don't get the time just because you ran. You get the time because you damaged something or you kill somebody or you hurt somebody, and you got to go to jail for the next 10 to 15 years for that. And usually when they clock you, they don't always come to get you. They radio ahead because they got other cars waiting further down the freeway for when you take off. Y'all got to stop watching so many movies, bro.
Passengers.
Hunt was arrested under Florida's new super speeder law, which heightens penalties for anyone going over 100 miles per hour or anyone driving 50 miles an hour above the posted speed limit. He also faces an expedition of speed charge.
To be traveling 155 miles per hour, you were obviously trying to show your passengers what that vehicle could do, and luckily we were able to stop you before it became a tragedy.
And tonight, FHP has a message.
So if you are a parent, be a good role model, explain the consequences that it could destroy your life over a stupid mistake.
Reporting in Altamont Springs.
Listen, y'all, they looking to make examples out of y'all. They're looking to make an example out of people that are breaking the law. And every time that they catch somebody, they're going, especially, listen, when they create a new law, they got this new super speeder law in Florida. Whenever they catch somebody, they throw the book at them because they want to make an example out of you especially when a law is first instituted, of why you cannot disobey the law or why they started to put the law into place in the first place. You are going to pay for everything. You're going to get your car auctioned. They're going to give the money and the proceeds back to the police department that then stops you. You're going to pay fines. You're going to go to jail, and they're going to use you as an example, bro. So please, please, and I keep on trying to have this conversation with y'all, do not put yourself in a position to where you out here looking stupid and you out here abusing the law and you got to get your car took and then you worked really hard, because then you're going to come on here and try to act like the world is against you. Be careful, y'all. Just be very, very. That's why a lot of times I like to take side streets nowadays, because people don't know how to control themselves.